So guys, now it's time to plot a bar graph. Till now we are just plotting a line graph. Okay, so if you go into the documentation, you can clearly see this is the documentation for a bar graph. So to plot bar graph, you have to just write matplotlib.pyplot.bar. Okay, but till now we are just using plt.plot, but now we are going to use plt.bar. Okay, so yeah, I'll just copy this thing from here and paste it over here, and let's see. Okay, the style is actually xkcd. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's start from the beginning. So we also need to use this import from matplotlib, from matplotlib import pyplot as plt, right? So yeah, after writing that, we are just styling that thing. For now, yeah, we are using xkcd. So let's use something different, So plt dot style dot use, and inside the parentheses, okay, it's already there. So here we are just going to write this one 538. Okay, and paste it over here. Perfect. And then we have all the ages between 25 and 35. Then we have the average salaries of the developers, and then we plot the graph and we label that all developers. Then we have the data of Python developers average salary. Then we plot the graph for Python developer as well. Then we wrote some title, X level, Y level, and then we put a legend. And okay, we don't want to save that as an image, so I'll just remove that line and let's run this code. Yeah, so you can see this is the graph, plot graph, right? And now we're just going to change the plot with bar. Okay, and this one should be also bar. And now if I run it, you can see now this is a bar graph, right? But there is one problem. Like all developers, like first of all, you can clearly see that we plotted the all developer graph first, right? So it plotted a bar graph of the all developers. Then it plotted a bar graph of Python developer salary. And since Python developer salary is higher than the all developer salary, so that's why Python developer salary overlap the all developer salary. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's just change this line, remove this line from there and write it after Python developers salary. Okay, and now if I run it, you can see Python developer salary is now in blue and all developers are in orange. So yeah, Python developer salary is higher than the all developer salary in most of the case. So that's why it's actually overlapping. So you can't really understand like which one is for which one, right? So in that case, we just need to use something called indexing. Okay, indexing means it starts obviously with 0 and goes till the length of the particular list. So here we have 25 to 35, right? So you can obviously use to 0 to the length of the whatever that is. But that is one thing. One more thing, on short thing, we can use, that is numpy. We can just create an array of the indexes using numpy with a single line. Okay, you don't need to write it manually. So if you don't know numpy, that's also fine. Just go to refinder.com. Let me just go into that quickly. And there just click on this courses. And here you can clearly see we have a numpy module tutorial. It's all free and it's like I think approx 1 hour tutorial, and it's free to enroll. You can just enroll that course and learn about numpy more. Okay, so you should install numpy on your device by writing pip install numpy, and we also need to use that thing, right? So we are just going to write import numpy as np. Okay, that's it. And after writing all ages, okay, yeah, after that we are just going to write indexes, x indexes, or indexes underscore x for x axis only, right? So here we are just going to write np.arrange because we already shorted the numpy as np. So np.arrange, it's really easy. It is not a rocket science. Okay, it's really easy. And yeah, np.arrange, then we have to just put the length of the all underscore ages x. Okay, that's it. And that means indexes will contain 0 to the length, length minus 1 numbers. Okay, so here the length is I guess 11. Yeah, 25 to 35 it's 11. So it starts from 0 and goes till 10. Okay, and now we just need to change these all edges x with the indexes. Okay, let's just copy this thing and paste it over here, and as well as paste it over here. Okay, fine. And since we are now using the indexes instead of the values, we can just do one more thing, that is we can just change the width of that particular plot. So by default it's 0.8, okay, 0.8. So you can clearly see the total amount of width is 1 and the bar is of 0.8. That's why it's creating a gap between two bars, right? So yeah, so now since we have all the controls to the bar, we can just change the width of these bars, right? So let's make one more variable for width and just make it 0.34, whatever you want. Since we have only two bars, two separate things for Python developers and all developers, so I can just write 0.35. Yeah, that's perfect. So if I use 0.35 for both the cases, so that means it will be like 0.35 for the first one, that is Python developer salaries. Then we have 0.35 for the second one, that is all developer salaries. Then it is going to, the total is 0.7, right? So it is going to make a gap of 0.3 between two bars, right? Yeah. So in this way you can use this width, or I can just make one more plot for JavaScript developer. In that case, we can just set it to 0.25. Okay, and let's do that. I'll just copy the all developer one and paste it again, and let's make it Java or JS dev y. Yeah, perfect. And this should be also JS, and let's change some values. If suppose it is 35,000 and now this is 38. Okay, so I changed the values of JavaScript developer average salary. So these are all assumptions, these are not true values. Okay, and yeah, let's do that. Let's change the width. So first of all, let's run this cell and let's see how it's working. Okay, there is an error. NumPy has no attribute called arrange. Okay, it's a single R, not double R. Perfect. Well, let's run it. Yeah, now you can see it's also still overlapping. That is because we are using indexes, but that's also the same. We didn't use the width. So we set the width to 0.25. So let's minus this 0.25 from the first one. So this will be 0.25, or I can just write the width. Yeah, and the second one will be perfect of indexes x, and the third one will also be plus width. Okay, it's width. Yeah, perfect. So let's run it. Well, you can clearly see it's still overriding the previous values, right? That is because we need to set one more attributes inside the bar method, that is width. So for example, after these y-axis values and before the labels, we can just write over here width is equals to width. Okay, so the first one is the attribute name and the second one is the variable which you created, that is width. You can, if you just create a WID, then you have to write over here WID. So this is the variable. Okay, and yeah, let's put a comma over here and let's just copy this thing from here and yeah, paste it over here as well as paste it over here. Perfect. So now if I run it, you can now clearly see that we can really understand these things. Okay, so let's change it with JS developers. JS, yeah, perfect. So you can see the yellow one is for JS developers, red one is for all developers, and blue one is for Python devs. And you can clearly see that for first one, let's zoom it a bit. Yeah, you can see that for the first one we have this Python developers bar, then we have the all developers bar, then we have JS developers bar, right? So now we can clearly understand this. So let's just change the styles because it has this grid system, that's why it's really confusing for now. So let's choose something Seaborn poster, copy that particular style and paste it over here. Okay, let's run this cell again. Now you can clearly see we have these separate things, right? Separate width for every particular plots. But there is one more problem. Let me just minimize the screen a bit. Yeah, you can clearly see there is one more problem. The x-axis labels are now changed, right? So now it's changed with indexes 0 to 10, isn't it? So that is because of we are using indexes as x levels. So we have to change that thing. So for that we have a method called xticks. Okay. So after writing the x level or before writing this x level title and all, we can just use one more thing, that is plt.xticks. Okay, and inside the parenthesis we have to just write ticks is equals to indexes. Okay, it's not fixed, it's ticks. Okay, ticks is equals to the variable for indexes, that is this one. I'll just copy this thing and paste it over here, and then comma, then we have the levels, right? Levels will be equals to all ages. Copy this thing and paste it over here. So now if I run it, you can see now the x level is changed with the values 25 to 35, right? So in this way you can plot a bar graph. Okay.